it's Dolly, and I am so excited to bring you Rockstar Radio. What's going on? My own channel celebrating my new album, Rockstar.
Dolly's Rockstar Radio. Now for a limited time on Channel 14 and the Sirius XM app.
Classic hip-hop channel like no other.
Hey, yo, you got the RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan.
It's your homie Ice Cube.
Yo, this is the Queen Latifah.
It's your boy Busta Rhymes.
What up, though? It's your boy Big Snoop Dogg.
Curated by the greatest.
Real hip-hop fans that love hip-hop music, this is for you.
LL Cool J's Rock the Bells Radio.
Channel 43.
To hear LL Cool J's Rock the Bells Radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Yo, the movement has already begun. Where are you?
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SiriusXM app filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
You deserve the best. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
Sunday Drive takes you to live action of every NFL game, so you never miss a big play.
He's sacked by Parsons.
Follow the entire league without changing the channel.
Kansas City in position to add to the lead. Back there we go now, Chiefs Radio.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Plus, you'll hear fantasy football updates and post-game interviews.
To hear NFL radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win. And to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148868.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Charlton of Big Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, and people who love the universe with 29 podcast platforms. That would be nobody but a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! It's 3 o'clock in the morning. As I've been telling people, be careful what you ask for because sometimes you may get it. I was hoping that I could be the neighborhood watch person because I had the most beautiful yard in the neighborhood. And I thought, well, if I have the most beautiful yard in the neighborhood, maybe they'll have me be the neighborhood watch person. So I try to bring people together, and I try to do it. I try to do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. And some people are just party poopers. Party poopers, give party poopers some praise. They don't like when I get out and yell at 3 o'clock for people to get together. It's all fair level war. You can follow Basic Sports Podcast on a beautiful November 15th, sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers. Hopefully all you Cadillac Escalade. The standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. If that makes sense to you. But think about the good Lord. Imagine when he splits hard. I want to say, I told you I found this joke book at the dollar store. So bear with me if my jokes are not adult material. What else can you make for $1? It's actually $1.25 now. You can follow Big C Sports on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, Amazon Podcast, TuneIn Podcast. I'm telling you, if you know people who need money, I got a solution for you. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. You can also find Big C Sports Podcast on GeoSavan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbay, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Podyssey, Podcast Republic, and there's a couple that I'm telling you. There's one that really used to scare me, but not doesn't. It's called AllFees.ai. Give that some praise because the robots are taking over. Now I got a friend. We got to be talking about the economy next week. His name Rashid Salam out of St. Louis, Missouri, and he's working on things that are educational. I want to give Rashid Salam some praise, but he's talking about. I won't give too much of the way, but he was talking about some robots that can build housing because of where he works in financial services and education. And I said, well, Rashid, that's good that you have these robots that can build houses. He said, Curry, yeah, they don't get sick. They don't call in. They don't call in for COVID. They don't strike because you don't pay them enough. He said they don't even go take a bathroom break. Just give them some oil and plug them in. And I said, well, is that gonna hurt the economy? He said no. We got to talk about that, Rashid. Give not hurt the economy some praise. I know President Xi and President Biden are in Denver Hills, California, also known as San Francisco, and they're trying to make sure that Daytona is intact. If that makes sense to you. I want to say you can also. I want to tell you you can follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. I'm telling you, life is something else. Big C Sports, I'm looking at doing a real estate show for 2024. Give that some praise. It'll just be one day a week. But my purpose is to connect all of the top real estate and insurance brokers in the United States and Canada to talk about how we get people back to work. And my goal is to create $6 billion. $6 billion! I tell you, I'm not joking. I'm not shucking and jiving. It's coming to me as I'm breathing. Are you breathing? Well, the good Lord said, Ephesians 3:20, that God can give you more and above and beyond all you can ask or think. And now I have an opportunity to connect real estate agents real estate brokers, and insurance agent and brokers to help move commerce. You get that from the National Black Wall Street Project.com. Give that some praise to Big C Sports. I told you I'm not shutting and driving. And the goal is to create $6 billion in commerce. And that's going to happen. It's starting in 2024, but I'm giving you a preview of it now with Big C Sports Podcast. So if you're a real estate broker or an insurance broker or real estate agent or insurance agent, I'm going to connect the whole United States of America and Canada to funding. Give that some praise. It's all fair and never more. I want to say also, I don't even sleep anymore. I'm so tired right now because I've been up till midnight, but I've been answering phone calls. I got to turn my phone off because I realize going that hard without getting some sleep is not good. I'm starting to see things in the middle of the night, and people say you got to count sheep backwards if you want to go to sleep. Well, I really saw some sheep. It's kind of scared the heck out of me. They were going, bah, bah. And then, as I said, man, what are you doing with all those sheep in that field? And he said, those are not sheep, those are goats. If you can't tell the difference between a sheep and a goat, you need some sleep. Give some sleep, some praise. Those are not sheep. Those are goats. They use goats to mow the lawns instead of paying people. I'm not joking. They're using goats to clear the side of these fields by the lake instead of using people. They don't have to pay the goats. I think that's funny. I don't know, but maybe it's just me. I want to say I love giving out this PSA for the Veterans Crisis Hotline because they are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. And people need help. They will stand on their head to get you some help. You know anybody going through issues, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise. Like TDJ said, get your stick together. And I love giving it praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light, and the light shine all over the world, if that makes sense to you. What I do with Big C Sports, I always produce the show, that's number one. Number two, I always direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We can all use more laughter in our lives. And then the commercials are done. The stats provided, the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play up to the line of scrimmage. 4 wideouts, 5-man front by the Vikings. And Kaepernick back to pass, rolling to his right. He throws downfield. It is caught for the touchdown by Jerry Rice. And as I woke up out of my sleep, I said, Kaepernick didn't play for the Niners and Jerry Rice was there. See, that's why I need more sleep. Give more sleep, some praise. If that makes sense there. But the show must go on, and then I upload the show. It goes out to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Dimdale Hills, California, if that makes sense to you. Even President Xi from China came over to Dimdale Hills, California, so he can listen to the Big C Sports Podcast. I told him all you got to do is Google it. It shows up all over the world. Get that some praise. And they taught me to depend on the Big C Sports Podcast. And then I'm telling you, I've never missed a platform. I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media. Give that some praise. I didn't call in sick. I didn't ask for a bathroom break, and I didn't go on strike. I know Hollywood's coming off a strike now, and so give them some praise for not being on strike. All fair and level war. I do want to make sure that I pay homage to where I come from, and I appreciate rising and shining and getting all of God's anointings and blessings. I want to praise the Associated Press, Janie Harr, because she did an article on Big C Sports Podcast. And as I said, as she did an article on Big C Sports Podcast about reparations, she called a sports guy about reparations. And I said, how'd you get my number? She said, we have our ways. I said, well, how can I help you? She said, I want to get your thoughts on reparations because I heard you speak. And she wanted to know my thoughts on reparations. And I said, my thoughts are the same as President Abraham Lincoln. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. And now it's coming so close to happening as we're breathing. And I know there's time when people don't have information, but I'm privy to information that makes me feel emboldened to get on a program and not just speak Romans 4:17, speak things that be not as though they were. I actually know people that are aligned with the task force in California, and I love paying homage to that because it's important to me. And coming soon is a meeting with the #1 senator in the United States of America. That's California Senator Stephen Bradford. I'll touch on that a little bit later. But I do want to thank Jeannie Harr with the Associated Press because of all the sports people she could have called to ask their thoughts on reparations. You would have thought she would have called. Let's take a poll. How many people think that Jeannie Harr was calling a sportscaster to ask about reparations? How many people said that she called ESPN? No, she did not call ESPN. How many people think that she would have called ABC Sports? No, she didn't call ABC Sports. How many people think that she would have called NBC Sports? No, she didn't call NBC Sports. Well, how many people think she would have called Fox Sports? No, she didn't call Fox Sports. Well, how many other sports shows? Other Curry. Oh, how about they think she would have called TNT that covers the NBA? No, she didn't call TNT that covers the NBA. Well, who she called, Curry? Well, how many people think she called the NFL Network that covers NFL football? No, she didn't call the NFL Network. Well, who did she call, Curry? She called Big C Sports. That's why I say give that some praise, because he's not like the others. Give him some praise for not being like everybody else. Not shucking and jiving. Oh, you got lucky. Maybe I did, but you know who also wrote up an article on Big C Sports and reparations? You ever hear of CBS News? Oh, there you go talking about CBS News, Curry. Well, let me ask him. Did CBS News call ESPN to ask their thoughts on reparations? No, she didn't. Did CBS News call ABC Sports to ask their thoughts on reparations? No, they didn't. Did they call NBC Sports to ask their thoughts on reparations? No, they didn't. Did CBS News call TNT NBA to ask their thoughts on reparations? No, she didn't. Did TNT, what did I say? I told you I didn't have that much sleep last night, but I know what I'm talking about. Did CBS News call the NFL Network to ask those men their thoughts on reparations? No, they didn't. Well, who did CBS News, who they write an article on, Big C? They wrote it on Charlton Curry at Big C Sports. You gotta give that some praise, because I've been told by so many dumb guys, man, you talk too much politics. And now you got the #1 news outlets in the United States of America doing articles on Big C Sports. All I say is give that some praise. Everything I say, you can Google it, and you ain't seen nothing yet, because I'm going to be the first and maybe the only sports show in the universe that will broadcast when reparations happens. Other people will follow, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I've been having visions about it. My cup runneth over right now. I don't even know what to say. It's hard to sleep, but I'm going to ask God to guide my words and do the best I can, like my mama already taught me when I was growing up. I do want to say, before I get into the show, because time flies. I have people calling me from all over the world wanting to have a spot on Big C Sports. Can they talk about things from the Olympics, from Denver, Colorado, from NFT platform companies that trade with the robots, and people from Africa, as I mentioned, Dubai, Canada, Mexico. In fact, when I do my real estate show in 2024, my goal, I'm telling you because it's true, I want to connect the top real estate brokers and agents, the top insurance brokers and agents all around the United States and Canada, so we can create over $6 billion in commerce. Give that some praise. I'm going to do a one-day a week, though. most likely on a Saturday, and that's going to start in January of 2024. I want to give God some praise for that because my cup running over. You either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And imagine as more and more people understand the power of unity, and that Dr. King talked about the arc of the moral universe is long and it bends towards justice. And sometimes you realize as you do enough reading, the only people who have not gotten reparations is just us. And I'm going to change that. Because reparations can also be accomplished by people working together and not trying to exclude Black American business owners, men and women. I'm pro everybody. It doesn't matter to me what ethnic group you subscribe to. All life began on the African continent. That's why, and I got a first-class ticket. I want to give praise to my mother's side of the family where I came from. My great-grandmother called her mama, a beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. And then I want to also give some acknowledgement to my beautiful great-granddaddy called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And always saying, boys, get out of that barn now. And when we worked on the fence, my great-granddaddy, he would say, boys, I told you measure twice and hammer once. But you know how boys are, the attention span. We hammer twice and measure once. Oh, like when a boy goes to the toilet, often heard, aim twice and fire once. You know, some boys get it wrong. We fire twice and aim once. Give me some praise. I told you I'm sleepy. Oh my God, I want to also thank my grandmother called her Muddy, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. She was a seer. She could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. Really do appreciate her. And she still helps me to this day. And then my beautiful grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person. A seer could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. Then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys a Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama some praise. How many people started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys Little League championship to the championship of the universe? In an all-men's league, they were always trying to intimidate mama, saying they played James Brown. This is a man's world. She say, hey, but it be nothing without a woman or a girl. Hey! Always saying rise and shine, the best person I ever met in my life. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then on my father's side, my granddaddy called him Albert Curry. He was a pastor. He owned 3 churches, and he owned 2 gas stations. 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft, the other on the Foothill. They were Shell gas stations. But I'm most proud of he owned 40 acres of land. It was like the Emancipation Proclamation where President Abraham Lincoln granted free black people 40 acres of land. It was in a mule for helping the Union win the Civil War. Without the help of the black soldiers, the Union would have lost the Civil War to the KKK and the Southern Confederates. And who knows what we'd be doing now. Maybe we would have still had slavery, if that makes sense to you. That's how important the Emancipation Proclamation was. It's a shame that we have people going from sea to shining sea, not paying homage to the only president in the history of the United States of America. He ended America's most heinous crime. Slavery was the most heinous crime in America. Oh, Curry, there you go again. Because slavery existed everywhere. Slavery did exist everywhere in the world. But it was manumitted slavery where you could earn your freedom. The United States was more draconian. You know, the land of the free, the home of the brave? Where it's supposed to be 3/5 of a person. How could you say the original people of the planet are only 3/5 of a person? If black Americans are 3/5 of a person, and you come from black people, what does that make you? 1/5 of a person? Based on Dr. Leakey and Gregory Mendel. I'm telling you, I feel so emboldened really do appreciate my granddaddy and my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland, and then the 3rd one they built in Central California, and also working with a few gas stations. But I was 8 years old walking down a hallway. I'm telling you, the same man that's about to launch a real estate show in January of 2024, already one of the top sports podcast shows in the universe, and now going to connect the top real estate and insurance brokers in the United States and Canada in 2024. We're going to create over $6 billion in commerce. Mark my words. I've been saying this for a long time. It's coming to me now. It's coming to me now. But I was walking through a hallway about 10 o'clock at night, and I felt someone touch me in my forehead. And she said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" I said, "What are you doing now, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. And she said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And she still said, "There's something about your voice I love when you speak. You got to give that some praise." She spoke life into me. And she let me have one more cookie. Always let the grandkids have another cookie. It won't hurt them, if that makes sense to you. Really do appreciate my grandmother and then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. And I'm telling you, I'm trying to do that. And everybody has their own thoughts. Really do appreciate my dad. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice. Sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. And voracious reader, always talk sports and politics. Really do appreciate Todd, one of the best people I ever met in my life. And then my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years from a major university. She set up the very first interview for Big C Sports. It was back at Salem Media. It's the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. It had never happened before. Normally they go to ESPN. And then shenanigans set up, as you know it often does. Like they burned down the Black Wall Street. They said if 2 N-words can do it, we can bring in some insurrectionists. And they bought in some good old boys, and the show soon went away. They lost all that funding. They had made budget for the first time in 44 years. They did it in 1 month because of the Dream Team. She called us the Dream Team. But that wasn't enough to not have shenanigans and menagerie set in. Menagerie. And they set in. And now they're having layoffs. And I'm about to start a real estate show connecting the top real estate brokers and insurance brokers in the United States and Canada in 2024. Give that some praise. That could have been going in their pocket. But I'm glad God let it happen. Sometime when God wants you to get off that bumpy road, He makes sure the road is so bumpy that you don't want to drive down it again. But if the road's not bumpy enough, you might just stay on that road. I understand it now. I love Daisy with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. And then my beautiful handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College student, a senior, very smart, erudite, a good man. A good man. I'm so proud of you. One, you can be anything you want to be. And one day, Malcolm, he helped me save trees. I used to always get the newspapers and look up stats on players and teams for the Big C Sports Podcast. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, he said, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. Now on 29 podcast platforms, and streaming on 4 TV platforms, and now about to start a real estate show called The Big C Team, and that's coming up in January 2024. Give that some praise. One day Malcolm said, Dad, do you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. It comes up on the iHeartRadio app. You can also find it on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. He said that before it was even on the air. And shortly after that, now you can find it. That's why I want to give you praise, Malcolm. You can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always trust God. You can be anything you want to be. And then Big C with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn. So you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm saying, let's get ready to rumble. I'm going to tell you something else because there's a seminal sea change coming in the United States. I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. And I know to many of our Jewish brethren who already got reparations from the Holocaust, descendants of Holocaust, they may be wondering what's taking black Americans so long. Because based on the Noir codes, black has no legal standing in court. It has to be descendants of chattel slavery. I want to thank the task force, the chair, Camila Moore. She's brilliant. An attorney that studies and focuses on reparative justice, Dr. Amy C. Brown, vice chair. He's brilliant. I want to thank the #1 senator in the United States of America, Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. He's also authored Name, Image, and Likeness, which is NIL. That helps college athletes get paid. He also authored Ebony Alert to help find young black kids when they go missing. He is also part of the California Reparations Task Force, and he will be speaking with Big C soon. I want to give him praise. Really do appreciate him. He's brilliant. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Assemblymember Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Cheryl Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to thank Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, part of the California Reparations Task Force, professor at California Berkeley. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's part of the California Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise, praise, praise. And he's also a Japanese American that got reparations through the internment camp. Give him all praise. We all give him praise for that. So I got so much that I can get into. It's hard to get all of it. But I want to also give praise to Double O. She's part of the National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street. She sent me Executive Order 13985 on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. That was President Biden's first order that he signed. You can Google it. Executive Order 13985. Reparations are coming. I want to thank also Georgetown University. They've already pledged over $1 billion in reparations to descendants of chattel slavery. The 272 families that were sold off to help pay off debts for Georgetown. Really do appreciate that. Also, I want to thank Double O again, National Payout Committee of the National Black Wall Street Project. And she sent me this article from the United Nations. United Nations. It says that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. You got to give that some praise. Reparations are coming. I really appreciate it. I want to thank T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports Podcast, if that makes sense to you. Now, I want to get into, before I talk about what's going on in the world of sports, because I'd be remiss if I had my head in the sand too. I was talking to Reverend Tony Pierce today. He's the president and CEO of the National Black Wall Street Project with over 50 years of leadership. We talked about Freedmen's Bank. Freedmen's Bank, Freedmens Bank. And everyone can Google it. You can Google Freedmen's Bank. Unless you're one of the states that would get fired for talking about black history. And they're trying to grow that. Better believe that wasn't the Union. That's the Southern Confederates trying to grow that. But if you Google Freedmen's Bank, chartered by the United States Congress, March of 1865. That's just 160 years ago. Coming up on 160 years ago. 158 years ago right now. It was chartered by the United States Congress to provide a place for former slaves to safely store their money. After several successful years in which freedmen deposited more than $57 million in the bank, it collapsed in 1874 as a result of mismanagement and fraud. They stole all the black folks' money after the Civil War. You ever hear about that? The need for banks for freed blacks became evident during the American Civil War, when African American soldiers in the Union Army were often denied access to conventional banks. You ever hear about being denied? Denied. So Congress set up a bank so that black Americans could put their money in. You know, Congress all white. and they had a board of 50 white trustees that were named to manage the bank's affairs. They were all white! And they stole the money! Oh, we don't need reparations. That happened in the past. What did Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell say? I don't believe that we should have to pay reparations for something that we stole over 150 years ago! Just let them play with balls! Let them play with balls, and they won't ask for reparations. And now you got black men all over this country just playing with balls. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Old man Willie! He's good all the way! Just playing with balls. As Congress, as we speak, that same Congress that allowed 50 white members, the trustees of Freedman's Bank, to steal all the money! That same United States Congress. Curry, are you saying people are still alive that 160 years ago? No, I'm telling you, Congress is still in existence. You knucklehead. And now that same Congress, they're debating whether we pay reparations to descendants of child slavery. The only problem is they can't find a lot of our black men and women who have the balls to stand behind them. Over 170 members of the House and the Senate have co-signed H.R. 40, which is a reparations bill for descendants of child slavery. Why don't you hear about that on these sports shows that put black men and black women on television? What kind of employer do they work for when that employer says, shut up? What kind of employer do they work for? Congress is talking about it right now. For liberty and justice for all. Just like the Homestead Act of 1863 that gave white people over 276 million acres of land for free. That's not true, Curry. That's not true. You're right, that's not true. They also gave white Europeans the land. You know, when you own over 276 million acres of land, what you could do with factoring and fractional banking and going into the bank, and then you have the eighth wonder of the world, which is known as compound interest, according to Einstein, and you wonder how the wealth gap in the United States got so large when black Americans worked for free from cradle to grave from 1619 to 1865, and they got nothing! Their retirement plan was death! We don't believe we'd have to pay reparations for something that we stole over 150 years ago! Just let them play with balls! A shame. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm gonna bring up something. Give me some praise. If you can give praise to people shucking and jiving, there's some praise to Big C Sports. Google everything I say. If you can't find what I say by Googling, then don't believe me. Don't listen to me. I want to bring up something that happened in the NBA. And pay attention to how much attention it gets. Well, Curry, you about to give it attention too. You're right, I'm about to give it some attention. And I want you to juxtapose the attention that this gets, that I believe is manufactured. Pay attention to the attention that this gets over what Big C Sports is saying. Because the Associated Press did an article on Charlton Curry, owner of Big C Sports. Also CBS News. So, last night in the NBA, the great Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert, they had what's called a little disagreement. Now there's an investigation. The NBA is looking into the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves. I thought it was going to say, for reparations now, reparations forever. Steph Curry's dealing with a knee injury. But the NBA has not announced their punishment for Draymond Green after the Golden State Warriors forward placed Minnesota Timberwolves center Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, and details of their investigation are being revealed by sports media. That same sports media that refuses to talk about the chokehold in Congress right now. Do we pass reparations or do we choke it off? Because reparations is more important than two athletes in a staged argument. Not one of them threw a fist. You notice that? I've seen men fight since I was a young boy, whether it's on ABC Wide World of Sports or some guys on a football field or basketball court. The fight that they keep saying happened, no one threw a punch. The NBA is conducting interviews with those involved in the what I call staged melee and reviewing all angles of the tape. The only tape the NBA should be reviewing is reparations now, reparations forever. Because there's a bigger fight that's going on. It's in the House and the Senate. We have 100 senators in the United States, 435 in the House, and we got 172 members between the House and Senate that are supporting reparations. All it needs is 2/3 majority vote, and then reparations will happen. Do you understand? That's what you should be covering. But the NBA is expected to consider Draymond Green's history of incidents like this one when determining the severity of his punishment. Who should be punished is the NBA. Oh, you must be out of your mind, Curry. They didn't chokehold nobody. Yeah, the NBA is chokeholding people. Because I've been telling them the most seminal moment in the history of this country since the Emancipation Proclamation is reparations. The NBA is making a fortune on black men. 80% of the players are black. The NBA Players Union, they control like 53% of the NBA on paper, but we know who has the power. That's Adam Silver. And instead of Adam Silver deciding to fine Draymond Green, I would hope that Adam Silver would support H.R. 40, Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. Because reparations is more important than this staged event that happened at the Chase Center in San Francisco. It was staged. Nobody was bleeding. Nobody got punched in the eye. Nobody punched each other. I mean, I didn't see anyone bleeding. But now the whole world's talking about it because it's something to get you off, to get yourself out of focus. They're saying that Draymond Green could be looking for severe suspension because of his past run-ins with the NBA. The Warriors scheduled to play their next game on Thursday night. The NBA will likely issue a statement prior to that game beginning. While it's unclear how long Draymond may be suspended, it's reasonable to assume that it will not be available for Golden State's game against the OKC Thunder, and they'll most likely be without Steph Curry and Draymond Green. But as I say, that's a staged fight. And the real issue that the NBA could put their heart, mind, body, and soul behind is California Senator Stephen Bradford. Because he's the one that's making sure that we get reparations. Now, they listened to Senator Bradford when he was helping craft name, image, and likeness. Because Big C Sports is going to have a sit-down with him. And I'm not asking him about who won the game. I want to congratulate him on the Ebony Alert that helps find young black kids when they go missing. I want to congratulate him on the NIL deal that helps the good athletes, no matter what color you are, they make a living based on the name, image, and likeness. You know who's fighting that? The NCAA. They're only used to white people getting that money. And now you got black athletes making a fortune, and they're saying, well, you know, we don't know if it's really good because now these guys are making a lot of money, and they don't want to play out their contract that we gave them for the scholarship. These guys, they realize they're not making no money playing for our university, and they can go out and market their products and make millions. So the NCAA, they're fighting NIL. They don't want these young kids realizing, wait a minute, why am I here risking CTE when I'm already making 7 figures and I can market myself for the rest of my life? Especially if you don't get drafted to play pro sports. You know who's responsible for that? It's not NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. It's not NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. It's a black man. One of the most powerful black men in the country. His name is California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's the one that fought for this. And he's fighting for reparations too. Why isn't he being on the news more often? Because it's brilliant! And for black Americans, you athletes out there that are shucking and jiving, you got your $1 million contract, you people in Hollywood, Eddie Murphy has a movie coming out for the holidays. It ain't talking about reparations. It's not talking about reparations. A lot of people are not talking about reparations. But Congress is. And before the end of this year, I'm going to start naming members in Congress and the Senate that are pro-reparations. Because they deserve to be reelected. Give that some praise. No reparations, no vote. So I'm not waiting for somebody to do it for me. I'm going to be the one that God chose to do it. In Genesis, I think it's chapter 13, verses 14 through 25, where God gave the talents to the disciples, and he gave one disciple 5 talents, gave the other disciple, I think 3 talents, and gave the other 1 talent. And the one that he gave the 1 talent to did the most with it. And I say that's Big C Sports. Get that praise. That's why the Associated Press and CBS News did an article on Big C Sports in 2023. You ain't seen nothing yet. Praise God. I say praise God if that makes sense to you. It's coming. And so no matter what the NBA does with their staged incident between 2 black men, what they should have been doing is supporting the ancestry of these beautiful black men running up and down their basketball court. And give that some praise. And by saying reparations now, reparations forever, that we support reparations. The National Basketball League supports reparations to descendants of chattel slavery, just like we support reparations to Holocaust heirs. And black folks give them praise. And many of our Jewish brethren, they stand on the side of us. They're saying, what's taking it so long for you guys? I don't know. I guess we're too busy playing with balls. If that makes sense to you. I want to get into some things that are happening right now with the NFL. And everybody has their own thoughts because they got to join the NBA in talking about these things. And I know everybody has their own thoughts about what's important, what's not important. But I want to ask some people if it makes sense to honor President Abraham Lincoln. And when we have President's Day, you notice they don't honor Abraham Lincoln anymore. They honor President's Day. You know why? Because if you just honor President Abraham Lincoln, how do you honor someone when you don't do what they ask you to do in his last will and testament? President Abraham Lincoln, he offered reparations to the descendants of chattel slavery. Big C Sports just happened to be born at a time when God allowed me to have a platform to talk about it. And I'm only asking for good people, fair-minded people, decent people, what they call God-fearing people. I'm not asking for the Southern Confederates. I'm not asking for the members of the Ku Klux Klan who are clandestine and they're shooting ties now. I'm not asking for them. I'm asking for people that want to do God's work. So it's going to take the clergy. What if T.D. Jakes and Pastor Joel Osteen, what if they gave what Billy Graham did for Dr. King when he bailed him out of jail for fighting for freedom? What if they made part of their church sermon, until we pass reparations, no more tithe. No reparations, no tithing. Because if the church were to honor what President Abraham Lincoln did, they would get serious about saying that a lot of our country, senators and congressional members, they have a heart to do the right thing. They're trying to do the right thing. No matter what people think of President Biden, he did sign an Executive Order 13985 that I got from 00, part of the National Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. It's in all 50 states. He did offer that order, and people can Google it. So I give him credit for that. But he can't find people that are as excited about reparations as they were about voting for him. Clyburn made sure all the black churches in the power structure got together and supported President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. And because of the black vote, he became President of the United States. And she became the Vice President of the United States. And they put reparations in writing. But they don't broadcast it the way they broadcast other things. But they know coming around this next election, no reparations, no vote. You can stomp all you want. You got to shout loud like President Abraham Lincoln did. And stop worrying about what the Southern Confederates think. I got NBA basketball. Give me some praise because it's coming. That stage fight between Draymond Green and Rudy Gobert, it was staged. It was not like Ollie Foreman. I got to look at the NBA offensive leaders in 2023. The great Joel Embiid dropping 33 points a game, followed by number 2, the great Luka Doncic for Dallas, dropping 31 points a game, followed by number 3, the great Steph Curry out of the Golden State Warriors, dropping 30.7 points per game. And Steph Curry and his wonderful wife, Aisha Curry, they're making sure that Oakland School District are there providing, making sure that kids get meals. You know, I want to give him some praise for that. But I want Steph Curry also to come on Big C Sports Podcast and talk about reparations, because when people like you talk, people listen. If I could get the great Luka Doncic, the great Joel Embiid, the great Kevin Durant for Phoenix dropping 30 points a game, the great Nikola Jokic for Denver dropping 30 points a game. Come on Big C Sports Podcast and we talk about reparations. And what if I can get NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, because I'm writing a letter to him from the National Black Wall Street Project to talk about what are your views on reparations for descendants of chattel slavery. Black Americans make the NBA very wealthy. I'm also going to have a letter written to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell from the National Black Wall Street Project to ask your thoughts on reparations. I'm proud of what you've done with end racism on the back of the end zones, but it's not enough! And I believe you have the heart to do it, because people need to know, what are your thoughts on reparations for descendants of chattel slavery? And when people hear your support of the President of the United States of America and the congressmen and the senators that are pro-reparations, it will happen, and it will actually stimulate the economy. Do you want to stimulate the economy? The answer is yes. The more money in the pockets of the economy, more people can buy your tickets for your games. The more money in the pockets of the economy, the more people can buy goods and services to stimulate the economy. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Manfred, Commissioner of Major League Baseball, he's also going to get a letter from the National Black Wall Street Project to ask what's your thoughts on Major League Baseball's thoughts on reparations. And I'm going to do the best I can to get some of our black brethren and broadcasters to join hands with President Biden. The same way we went to the ballot box and voted for him. I'm saying we pejoratively, not everybody did. But if the man is saying that he wants Congress and the Senate to create a plan to support Representative Sheila Jackson Lee for reparations, why would you not vote for him? But they gotta pass it! I I'm going to go to the NBA three-point leader, Stephen Curry. He has a knee injury right now. He has a hitch in his giddy up. But he's dropping threes at the rate of 5.6 per game. Every time Steph Curry scores a three-point basket, he increases the record for NBA threes. With the power that Stephen Curry has in the beautiful last name, the most beautiful last name in the history of the universe. Imagine Stephen Curry and Charlton Curry talking sports and reparations on Big C Sports. Like the NFL says end racism on the back of the end zone, I don't know what the NBA says yet. But I believe they're pro-reparations and they're definitely pro-ending racism. I know that much. But sometimes when something's important to you, you put it in writing according to the court. According to a bill, you put bills in writing. That's what the President Abraham Lincoln did. The Emancipation Proclamation is in writing. That's important. I don't know anyone with a heart that would say that would be the wrong thing to do. Luka Doncic, number 2 for Dallas at dropping 4.23 points per game. You got Markkanen for Utah dropping 3.9 3 points per game. The great Jason Tatum for Boston dropping 3.5 3-pointers per game. And then for Dallas, you have Hardaway Jr. dropping 3.5 per game. You got to give them some praise for the way they play. What I'd love to see is how they also get together and work on the reparations speech. Because that's important. It's right there in our hands. NBA defensive leader Nikola Jokic for Denver, averaging 13.9 rebounds per game. You got the great Rudy Gobert from Minnesota, averaging 12.8 rebounds per game in their staged altercation last night. You got Domas Sabonis for the Sacramento Kings, averaging 12.4 rebounds per game. You got DeAndre Ayton for Portland, averaging 12 rebounds per game. And for the Lakers, Anthony Davis, number 5, at averaging 11.9 rebounds per game. Give them all some praise. I hope that they will also champion reparations because it's going to happen. And we know the world will celebrate it. They put in racism in Europe for soccer games. Give that praise. People say, oh, take that stuff off. People want direction. Google Freedman's Bank. Google it. United States Congress set that up too. Because they're also going to pass reparations. It's going to be in 2024, but it's going to happen. It should happen before Christmas this year. You want to stimulate the economy? Just look at the members in the House and the Senate. The 172 have co-signed the bill H.R. 40 with Representative Sheila Jackson Lee out of Texas. It's for reparations for descendants of child slavery. You can't make this stuff up. You can Google it. So don't think it's just Big C talking, oh, there you go again, Big C, talk about reparations. They're already doing it for certain members. It's our time now. And I'm asking these men and women that have a heart to honor President Abraham Lincoln. This is not Big C's creation. It was Frederick Douglass working with President Abraham Lincoln. And they came up with it. How do we pay back people that we robbed from cradle to grave? It's important. And all I'm asking is for people to do it. I'll finish with this story. There's a TV commercial, I'm pretty sure it's nationally. It was about a young kid, little white kid, maybe 10 years old, and he signed a baseball for his grandfather. And he said, hey, granddaddy, I hit a home run and I got a grand slam and I signed the ball for you. And it says, I love you. And the grandfather said, well, why'd you do that? And he said, because you taught me everything I know about baseball. And he said, I love you. That's what they did. Do the same thing for black Americans and their grandfathers, great-great-granddaddies. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, You can call Lyft. You can walk it off. You can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love drink and then get behind the wheel of a car and start driving. The life you save may be your own. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, but all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because listening to Big C Sports in that Reparations now, Reparations forever, it makes me want to champion reparations too. That's my story and I'm sticking with it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone. Call 911. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that garbage. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. And now we honor President Abraham Lincoln. What did he tell Congress to do? He said reparations now. He said reparations forever. Come on, I know you can say it louder than that. Say it with me as you stand up for the kickoff. What did President Abraham Lincoln tell Congress to do? He said reparations now. Reparations forever. Oh, come on, I know you can do it better than that. Say it like your team just won the game. He said reparations now. Reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.